Hi, I'm JoAnna, High Priestess of the North Wyldewood Coven.
I'm Denise, High Priestess of North Wyldewood Coven. And welcome to our video, our quick video on what is a coven and all the things that are related to that. So let's start with the definition. A coven, according to myself and JoAnna, how we pieced it together, is a group of people who agree to a certain ritual structure, a set of guidelines, and a style of worship, also known as a tradition altogether. Those people practice magic and celebrate Sabbath ceremonies together on a regular basis. There may be a hierarchical structure or not.
So, in our coven, the North Wyldewood Coven, if you are a member, you can be a member and be on the degree path, in which case there are 3 degrees that are given within our coven. There are 2 leaders of our coven, Denise and myself, and there are 2 possible paths of membership once you are within the coven. We'll talk more about what those 2 paths are a little bit later.
So, how is a coven formed? So, traditionally speaking, there is a mother coven, the first coven, and then from there, members hive off, that's what it's called, to form another coven. In this case, we hived off and formed North Wyldewood. There are usually 2 leaders because there's an enormous amount of responsibility and work to do.
So there are a number of different things that you get out of being in a coven. There are a lot of different reasons to be in one. It is not for everyone, though, and I think it's really important to say that just up front. That to be a witch does not mean that you have to be in a coven. To practice our tradition, you do need to be in a coven in our coven or in something that is of our tradition. What you get out of coven membership is different for each person. So I will speak for myself about what I find so wonderful about it. It is a tribe of some kind. It is a group of people that, especially in our coven, since we are a very intimate group, we are a very close knit group, and therefore we have both the ability to grow in our faith, to learn more about ourselves and our practices, to be encouraged by one another, to go a little bit further, to try new things. I'm constantly learning from all of our coven mates about things that they're excited about, books that they're reading, forms of meditation that they're trying. There's a lot of experimentation outside of just what is structured within the coven. And we each learn and grow from one another by seeing where our paths are taking us. And there's also the support that you get from being able to know that you have someone else that you can call on, that you can lean on, that you can do magic with in order to better your life and the life of all the people that you love.
For me, joining a coven gave me a place to express and feel safe about all the things that I saw and felt, to do meditations together. Um, when you have when you enter into the magical community and there's tons of information available, it's really hard and kind of overwhelming at first to oh my god, what do I do? So a coven gives you some structure to help you integrate all that information into yourself and your daily practice. And that's the other thing, is that it makes you accountable to somebody else, so that when you think, no, I'm on my own, I'm too lazy, and I've seen a lot of things on the internet about I don't do enough witchcraft. Well, it's really subjective. It's up to you. You can do as much or as little as you want. In a coven, there's some structure to it. So you know that you're going to celebrate the Sabbaths. And then you do it with people that you can rely upon and you can trust. It's that whole perfect love and perfect trust. And so you do that, and then you build rapport and strength. And then when you're directing your energy towards whatever goal or celebration or devotional act that you're doing, there's a lot of energy and power that is directed that way. And that's part of being a coven, is that you have people you can rely upon that have your back in a magical sense. And also sometimes you end up being friends, but primarily it's a magical group. So you have to always keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially in our group, it's all about like the different webs of relationships that we have together. But primarily we are a religious group, which means it's also the web of relationships that we're forming with spirits and with the land and with our ancestors. And through the act of our practice, what we're all becoming together. So what are the options, and how do you become involved with our coven specifically?
So we have two options. One is the community circle path. So that is when you really just want to have a group that you practice SBOTs and Sabbats with, so that that you can always be with those people there, and there's, for us, we have retreats and other things that we do, and that would be for community circle path walkers. But if you make the choice to go on the degree path, because you can choose to do that or choose not to do that, then you're earning the one of the 3 degrees, or you can stop if you want at first degree. You could go on to 3rd degree. And then above 3rd degree would be hiving and forming your own coven, and then becoming a high priestess or a high priest. Those are our 2 paths, and they don't have a set amount of time that it takes for you to walk that path, because everyone's journey is unique and special to them. So it could take one person 5 years or 3 years, something really quick, or it could be much longer than that. It just depends on what everyone's going through, and and what's right for them.
And I mean, just to put this in perspective, Denise and I have been practicing together since 2003. So we've known each other, we've been practicing magic together for a very long time. And therefore that journey, it takes the time that it takes, and everyone is different on that path. So to join our coven specifically, to talk about like what that means, she already mentioned like the time. Denise mentioned the amount of time, which is different for each person, but there are certain prerequisites. There is a certain path that is followed. The public offerings that we have, like our public Sabbats that we do in New York, and then the Enter the Wildwood program that we have, are things that are public. They are generally open to whomever wishes, to come to them. Enter the Wildwood is our introductory class set, and that is a requirement for anyone who wants to potentially join our coven, needs to go through that curriculum and complete that. After that, there is a second stage of sort of still not within the coven, but a little bit more intermediate level curriculum, which is after Enter the Wildwood, and that is also required for anyone who wants to potentially become a member of the coven. And after that point, there would be a discussion about whether, you seem to be working well with us, whether you feel it's the right thing, whether we feel it's the right thing. As we've mentioned, our group is quite intimate. We are not a large coven, and therefore there's a lot that goes into making sure that this is the right fit for everybody. And we have people from actually now multiple states in our coven. So it's not like a distance thing or a thing where we have certain set standards. It's just that we know how it evolves and how that interaction fits together. And it's really in the God's hands also, in some sense.
I think it's important to mention that it's not about getting to 3rd degree or getting to hive or whatever it is. It's really about your personal journey and your journey on the path with us. So once, we're all together in circle, we're basically equal, except for the people who are leading the circle. So that could be anybody when it's an SBOT or a Sabbat. So, marking the time and saying, oh, I plan on doing this by, next year. It's not really about it. It's just spending the time and deepening your connection with the earth, with each other, with the gods, spirits, ancestors, and everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a journey.
It is very much. And it's a journey. Being in a coven is a journey, and it's one that we really love. So we hope this has been helpful for you. And if you have any questions about our coven or covens in general, make a comment below or send us a message, and we are happy to answer. And we'll talk to you in another video.